Hey, welcome to the Summers Woodworking Show. This is Season 3, Episode 25. I'm your host, Brian Gidney of Summers Woodworking, and my co-host is Shannon Fargo of Little Guy in a Fat Shop. Hey, that came out wrong. Fat Guy in a Little Shop.
Texas to say that.
Oh, that's priceless.
Yeah. Little.
And tonight we're going to be talking about woodworking passion. And first off, I'm going to introduce our panel. We got Charles at woodenvisions.com. You can find him, all his social links on his website, I believe, right?
Yes, sir. No, YouTube is a better way to find all my personal.
Okay, so Charles Daring at YouTube.
Charles Daring Scroll is what I go by. Sorry to interrupt, sir.
Okay. I'll get it down pat one of these days.
Golly.
All righty. Next we have David Gunn, and he's a new guy, so I don't know too much about him. All I know is he goes by crap. I had him on YouTube.
DLG Woodwork.
Yeah, DLG Woodworks. And he submitted a 2x4 contrast entry this year, and glad to have you on tonight.
Good to be on. I appreciate you having me on there, Brian.
And then we have Russell Clarity at Simply Wooden Creations. I believe they can find you on YouTube through Russell Clarity.
No, Simply Wooden Creations, everything.
Oh, okay.
Facebook, YouTube.
All right. We'll put links in the description bar after the show. So if you're interested in any of these guys, you can just click on those links. And we have Tommy G Woodworks. We got Tommy Gonzalez. He's an all-around kind of woodworker. He does all kinds of things. And like we said, we're going to be doing woodworking passion. So start her off, Shannon.
Well, all right then. We won't pick on David since he's the new guy and make him go first, but definitely something to think about. Unlike the first time I came on, you put me on the spot right away. I'm going to be nice and let him wait. That way he's got time to compose himself. If we let Charlie go next, though, he's just going to talk. So we'll pick on. Sorry.
Little guy in a fat shop. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you know. I wish it were a fat shop. That'd be nice. I wish I were a little guy. They'd work out better that way than the way it goes right now. But we'll pick on Tommy first because, well, he happens on my screen. He's right there next to my picture. So, you know, it's just luck of the draw. But I guess along with the passion, maybe if you've got a specialty that you work with, something a little more frequently than others that keeps you going, what gets you going?
Well, my passion, I know it's passion about woodworking, but just building in general is my passion. By trade, I'm a metal worker, but I got into woodworking and really started enjoying it after my first project. My first project was for my son because we bought him a trampoline, but he was too little to get up on it, so I built him a little stool, and from there it took off. I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed just building with my hands in general, so I kind of took to it real quick and started building the shop around woodworking, and I do a lot of shop projects right now, but I'm getting a little bit into furniture and cabinets and that type of stuff. So
that's always a good place to learn. I have a set of cabinets in my shop that are questionable at best. I'm surprised they haven't fallen down off the wall just yet, but it was my first cabinet project. It didn't go well, but that's all right. All right. So I guess we get back to you then, because if I keep going across, then it's Brian is next. So we'll make Brian talk, because he let me decide. So let us know, boss, what makes you passionate about woodworking.
Are you kidding me? It's all about the wood, man. I love the grain, especially when you put a finish on it and it just pops. Man, it's just like walking in, you know, to a house that looks like crud. and then after you get done remodeling it, it looks perfect, you know. Same way with my woodworking. I can't believe I can take a piece of wood and create something out of it. And the finished product, not always the best looking, but, you know, a lot better than the way it came.
I think I have to go with you on finish on that one, because that's probably my favorite part. I swear I'll always hear a little bit of Barry White or something playing when you first wipe that coat on there. It's, oh, yeah. And it just goes from there. So, but, all right. So, Russ, we'll switch over to you now, because the line just keeps going over. So, even outside of Scroll, what gets you passionate about woodworking?
I think my passion really comes from just heritage, because I'm a third-generation carpenter woodworker. So I just enjoy making stuff out of wood, period. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just whatever the case may be. Scrolling is my primary love as far as what I like to do the most, but I've built everything from entertainment systems to cabinets to, I mean, I'm a general contractor. I've built homes. I've remodeled homes. I mean, it's just in my blood, so to speak. I mean, I was born into it at a early age. Charles is going to love this. Knee-high to a grasshopper. I was taking. My dad had me out on the job, and so I was born and raised around woodworking. So I can't say anything in particular gets at my passion as far as. I think it was instilled in me from a young age, and it's just continued to grow over the years.
Yeah, I think my first project, if I remember right, was cutoffs from a job site my dad was working on. Somebody cut a hole in a door, or doorknob, obviously, and I used that and a little cut-off triangle from a piece of something and found a glue bottle and made my dad a little sign. So
You got lucky then, because my dad used to save all the scrap wood from it. Nothing got thrown away. It all came to our house, and we had like 5 acres, and so he would even save the nails that got bent, and me and my brother would have to sit out back and on an anvil with a ball-peen hammer and straighten those nails out for him so he could use them again.
That's what I do.
So was that anvil uphill both ways to get to it, or
and the snow. In the snow.
And how many bears? How many bears did you fight between the house and the anvil?
We didn't have a lot of bears around here. We had a lot of rattlesnakes.
There you go. All right.
You can keep those.
That's what you used to chase the bears off, just chase them with a rattlesnake. And
Yeah, rattlesnakes.
bear says, "Oh, look at that." All right. All right. I got you. Okay, David. That's going to bring us over to you, and you've had your customary or introductory few minutes to acclimate. So, no pressure. It's all on you now.
All right. My passion for woodworking is kind of actually, I guess, grown and changed over several years. I started woodworking about 8 years ago. When we moved into this house, I built just a coffee table for the living room, and I built a few other items, and really enjoyed just making stuff. And then as my daughter started getting a little bit older, she started working out in the shop with me. And kind of in my family, love my family, great family and all that, but we don't have a ton of, like, I guess, things that have been in the family for years or anything, really passed down from generation to generation. And I kind of look at it as, I'm hoping that I can do that with some of the stuff I make. I know not everything I build is going to last forever, but I would like for some of the furniture I build to be able to be passed on, or even, just passing on the craft to my kids, or, if I've had my nephew work in the shop with me, and just being able to share, what we love as far as like building stuff. That's kind of my passion for the woodworking, and then go along with like what Brian said, just taking a board or a couple of boards and putting them together. And even if we don't always think, man, this is really good, somebody else look at it and think, man, you made that? That's awesome. And for us, we're kind of in the craft, we see it all the time. But for people outside of it that don't really realize what goes on in a shop, that's kind of motivation for me to, all right, I can take something and this person's going to think it's cool. This person's going to think, hey, how did you do that? So I built my daughter like a floating bed. You can find it on my website. And I've had so many people ask, man, how did you do that? You know, and some people know, woodworkers obviously would know, but, you know, just having something to pass on and share with others is really what my passion for woodworking is about.
Yeah, I like the light that you put underneath there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was my wife's idea. I got to give her the credit on that part.
Yeah, I've tried to convince my kids that sanding is the exotic part of woodworking, and they should come join along with me. And they know their daddy too well, so
Yeah.
No dice on that one. So,
My daughter doesn't mind it. She likes me to buy the little sand blocks at Harbor Freight. I buy her a pack of those, and she'll run through a pack of those in a couple of weeks. So.
yeah, I think the one big project, my daughter kept focusing on one about 6-inch patch, and it was the smoothest part of the entire project, but it was just that one spot. You know,
Yeah.
Sweetie, there's rough over here. No, I got this. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Chris Demetric, I should say. He had his niece in his shop, and he was like, "How do you like sanding?" And she's like, "Oh, I think this is good." And he's like, "Well, most woodworkers hate sanding," and she's like, "Well, this is the best part, I think."
Yeah, I'm sure he'll throw plenty of work her way then.
Oh yeah.
All right, sitting down here on the end of my row is Charlie,
Yeah, do.
How do?
and then diddly ding dong back at you.
My God. I think my passion is more so in the designing, because that's where I started before I started. Well, okay. It all started on a rainy Tuesday. I'm kidding. I got something in the mail, and it was a catalog for scroll saw patterns, and I had never heard of a scroll saw before that. But I didn't like the simplicity, because I like detail and realism. So that's what got me started into designing. So that's where my passion went. So I have over 1,000 designs, and what I do is scroll saw work. So my passion lies between the two.
I think detail actually does apply very well to what you do, because I don't know that I would have the patience.
That's why I don't get a lot of sales of the patterns, because people are scared of them or don't want to spend. And I understand that, because even if you love scroll sawing, you don't want to spend 3 days on it. You know, some people just want to do a little who's or what's it and get it done. But I love challenging myself, and that's part of my problem. But I think the passion is exactly in the middle of creation, or designing and actually making.
Well, I think we probably all, if we were honest with ourselves, probably go back to the challenge of it, because if we look at what we've done, you know, how many of us started with something simple, whatever simple would be, but after you've done that thing, whatever that simple thing is, 5 or 6 times, now you're looking to try something else. You see somebody else put a curve on it where you had a straight bit, or a groove, and you didn't think of a groove there or whatever, and you go back and try that. I know that's what I've done on a lot of different projects that I've done, is just after you see, hey, I didn't think of that, and then you go try it, and you think, well, if it's the worst case, I burn the evidence in the grill when I cook hamburgers later, and no one's the wiser. But then it actually turns out, and you walk in the house. And I always think of, every time I take something new that I've done in the house, it always reminds me in the back of my head of a kid with something made out of macaroni art. You know, because you walk in the house and you're like, look what I did! Look! You know, and of course, my kids, they'll look up, that's good, Dad, and then back on their phones. But, and sometimes I think my wife just oh, that's cute, honey. You glued sticks together. Good job.
Well, I think and I'm sorry to interrupt, Shannon. I think you talked about the challenging yourself, and I know I touched on that, but I think the emotions you go through, for lack of a better word, is what adds to that, because I hate myself when I'm doing one of my detailed pictures, because it takes so bloody long. I'm thinking, dude, just do something simple. But when you get done, that sense of pride is there. So if you're challenging yourself in any aspect of woodworking, I think the fact that you got through it, overcame it, and came out with a good product is what makes it all worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did a experimental. Here it is. I did my first in-grain boards here lately, and I didn't pay attention to as much attention to the wood maybe as I could have. After I sliced it up and got it all laying sideways for the in-grain portion, there was one I actually went back and just cut that strip of it off because I didn't like it. Because there was actually it was a hole. I don't know exactly what caused it, but it ran all the way down the length of the inside of one of the boards. But I didn't really see that until I'd sliced it all up, and so, I got frustrated pretty easy because I thought, well, it's just one more step in the cutting board process, and it didn't turn out like I wanted it to. But, you make adjustments. It's not quite as big as it was going to be, but it looks decent now without, looks like notebook paper down the side of it from all the holes, but, we live and we learn, right? So, fortunately, it was on the outside edge, and I was able just to trim it off without, if I had that in the middle or something, I'd have really been screwed.
I do a lot of experiments as far as that's the reason a lot of people will say most of the stuff that I show, like on my YouTube videos and around, like some of this stuff behind me now, is all made out of cheap pine that I get from the big box store. And the reason being is when I design my pattern inside and then bring it out here, I'm not going to take it out of some Babinga or cherry or some Purple Heart to begin with, because I want to make sure that it cuts right first time. And you'd be surprised how many times I've found, whoop, that's not going to work. This piece is way too thin. It'll break off. And then all I've done is wasted 50 cents worth of yellow pine. I throw it in the garbage and burn it in the grill like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Designer firewood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, like I said, after I've cut it and make sure that it's fine, then if somebody wants one, yeah, I'll cut it out of something. Or if I like it good enough, some of the stuff I cut out of, like for my own personal use, I'll cut out of some nice expensive wood. But other than that, I do everything in cheap pine.
Yeah, it's a good way to practice and not have huge investment. Something that's not $12 a board foot or something crazy like that.
Right.
There's only 3 trees left in the world. I'll give it a shot. And then you screw it all up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oops, there's number one.
Darn it all. So, yeah. So, as far as scraps, and I mean, we all do this, because you think, and to me it ties back into the passion, because when you're done and you've got this little odd strip or odd piece of wood left, and you think to yourself, I could do something with this. How long does it take for that passion to go, no, really, that's just trash. I should just throw that in the grill and be done with it?
I think being married plays into that, Shannon, because your wife will help you decide whether or not it's trash.
But see, that also bites me sometimes, because sometimes she sees that and goes, oh, we could make this out of that. And I turn and I go, we? No, you can have me make that out of it. Let's say it like it really is. But even with that, I mean, she gets great ideas too, so why not? But because I say that because I'm looking at, and I know I've had this board. It's got to be for years, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what species it is. I don't know where I came across it, but I keep holding on to it, thinking someday I'm going to find something that this is going to be some little accent piece or some little focal piece of a project. I don't even know what it's going to be yet. And I every time I look at that, I think, why am I still holding on to it? You know?
Go grab it. Go grab it. Maybe one of our viewers can tell us.
Well, it's buried over there at the moment. But you know, it's that kind of thing. It's when we talk about passion, that makes me wonder. You know, am I just turning into a wood hoarder? And not that that's entirely a bad thing, but
I'm a wood hoarder.
I would be if I could afford it, but I think the first words of a hoarder are, I could use that for something, and I am very guilty of that.
When I get rid of some of the scraps is when I run out of places to put it. I mean, I actually get so overfilled with scrap wood that I finally just say, hey, I got to get rid of some of this stuff. So, and then I usually go through it and pick out the smaller pieces and burn them first and try to save the larger pieces. I'll save pieces as big as what you got on your cutting board right there. You just showed us and not throw them away. I'm serious. I got some real small pieces that I save. And like I said, when I get overwhelmed, that's when I have to make the decision to get rid of some of it.
That's why I end with scraps.
Yeah, I are a wood hoarder, and I need some help.
Ever since I got a lathe, there's no scraps. It can always be a potential project.
Yeah.
Glue it to another tiny piece and let's turn that sucker.
Exactly.
Maybe that's why I need to hurry up and get a lathe then, so I won't have any scrap left over.
Custom toothpick.
Then that's fire starter. So there's no scrap.
Yeah, I got a smoker for Father's Day, and so one of the nice things about here, anyway, the part I'm at, is there's a shop outside of town that just has a ton of mesquite, and I get all kinds of pieces of mesquite. But I also, while I'm there, they've got the scrap pile out back you can go sort through. So I've got some really weird, funky pieces of mesquite. So that actually works out great because if I'm using that anyway, and the project, that's what I told my wife on this cutting board. She said, "Well, have you even done one of those yet?" And I said, "No, but worst case, it's half mesquite, half cypress, so I know where half of it's going." We cooked dinner with it one night. So,
Yeah.
But fortunately, they kind of worked out. I didn't get all. There's like each board has one strip that's slightly, 1/8 to maybe 1/16, something like that, of an inch off of the line. But I guess that I can say, well, you could tell it's custom that way because if it were mass produced, it would be perfect. So, but I wasn't sure if that was just me on the little scrap pieces or not. If I could justify that as saying I was passionate about woodworking, that I keep even the tiniest little bits of wood. So apparently,
No, I'm that way with my scraps. If it's big enough that I can't quite inhale it, I'm going to throw it in a little bucket somewhere and hang on to it. And I'm like you said a while ago, I eventually have to go through and burn some of it or do something with it. But I've got little buckets and trash cans and stuff all over that's just scraps that I've had for probably 5-6 years. That eventually it'll be something. I don't know what. It'll probably be firewood, but it'll eventually be something.
Yeah, it could either be passion or hopefulness, or just being hopeful that it will be something someday. But yeah, swallowing your pride and realizing, yeah, I better get rid of this stuff.
Yeah, I had this overwhelming fear that I'm going to throw this piece away, and tomorrow I'm going to find the perfect project for it.
Yep.
If I'd have had that back,
Here you go. This is This is about what I've done in the last 30 days. This is the scraps in the last 30 days.
I think that's a symptom there.
Yep.
I think you're Exhibit A, Your Honor.
Russell, we're here to help you. we brought you here, man.
Now wait a minute. Russell, you just held that piece up, that rectangular. My first thought, well, that could be a coaster.
Yeah, that'd be a coaster.
See? It's incurable. You're infecting me across the internet.
I've actually taken pieces like this right here and make little crosses out of them and give them away to people at the nursing homes.
Keychains.
Keychains. This is black walnut. This is mahogany. This is oak. I mean, this is, like I said, this is, see, look, now why in the heck would you save something like that? That's a piece of cherry.
You can make an earring or a keychain or a necklace thingy.
Well, I've got a problem.
It's all right.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Is there really such a thing as too much wood?
Never. Unless it's wood rot.
Oh, I thought you were going to go there.
I was going to say something, but I realized this is PG-13, so I'll keep my mouth shut.
That's what I was trying to head off with the pass.
Yeah, I almost said it.
Very, very good there, Tonto. Cut that one off. So.
I mean, look at it. If you have something that big and at least that wide, you can always make splines.
Yep.
I mean, heck, I don't see any waste. It's a matter of getting something made. That's the thing.
True.
Now, Shannon, you asked us on the passion thing. You asked all of us, but did you really get into your woodworking passion? Like, kind of what drives you?
Go, David. Go, David.
Wait a minute. Um,
I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah, I have prepared nothing for crying out loud. I'm a finish guy. It's one of the things, and I've been on for the last couple of months now. It's not the only thing I've done, but there's been a lot of cutting boards. I've gotten that. I got the fever, and so
got the fever.
and it's addictive. And as many people like Brian, I know when he got into pen turning, and it's just like pens, yes, pens.
I still got the fever.
Yeah, I'm that way on cutting boards. I mean, it's not all I want to do, but right now it's that challenge to go from just straight strips glued together. It's kind of a a lined pattern to try and end grain. I was watching dang it, Tim Bath. I watched him do the MTM. Don't get me started on MTM. I just sat there like an idiot drooling over all those videos going, I've done it. So, but he did the chevron pattern board for the kitchen challenge, and I just watched that again the other night, and I got to try it. I have to try it, and so it's that part where you wonder if I can get through all the types of cutting boards, like there's really an answer for that one. Can I stop now and move on to another project, or will I just eventually try as many basic things as I can and then just kind of get bored with it and move on? I don't know, but I haven't got to that point yet.
I have an idea for you, Shannon.
Okay.
And I'm being serious for once.
Oh, wait. Okay. Shoot.
It's shocking me too. I have to breathe. Okay. Anyway, okay, you have access to a scroll saw, correct?
Not according to Russ, I don't.
Okay, Harbor Freight must be.
I have access to a small flat jackhammer that bounces across the table.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you can manage to hold it down long enough.
Okay.
I think what would look cool is making a cutting board out of ingrain shaped like puzzle pieces. Tell me that wouldn't look cool as heck.
That is an awesome idea.
I hate you so much right now.
Charles Daring came up with that.
My computer glitched there for a second. Make a cutting board. What now? What did he say?
Cut it with ingrain pieces, but shape them like puzzle pieces.
Oh, now that
Oh yeah, Charles Daring came up with that. Y'all heard that on Brian's show, but Charles Daring said it. Just say it.
But I wouldn't make it in grain. I would do it flat ways. But I see exactly what you're saying. I would cut it with different colors of wood like a puzzle, but do it flat, not in grain, flat grain.
Almost like an intarsia too.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with intarsia, I think what you're thinking of, Brian, is what they call segmentation, because intarsia would be shaped and it would trap too much crap in there. So
isn't there a safe like epoxy that you can use?
Well, there is, but
in
I
the
think
gaps. That way, it gives it kind of what should I say?
Three-dimensional.
Three-dimensional, more appealing look.
Well, yeah, if you filled the valleys that were made from the intarsia with a clear epoxy or whatever, then it might look really cool. But
I would be worried about that being food safe, though. Yeah. I mean, they claim even polyurethane, most of your product nowadays is supposed to be once it's cured. Now I said cured, not dried.
Right.
It's supposed to be food safe, so to speak. Now, do you realize if you read the can, it takes like 30 days for polyurethane to cure. There's a long period of time.
Oh, really? I thought it only took like 2 days.
No, it's like a long period of time for it to actually cure. So my point being is, though, but think about it. You got something that thick, I'd be kind of worried about it. If your knife chipped it or whatever, it'd be a nice piece of epoxy.
Yeah, that's chewy.
I almost wish I was into cutting boards now, because coming up with that idea.
I really hate that you just suggested that, Charlie, because now I kind of want to try it.
I'm so sorry.
I got to figure out how many bolts it's going to take to get that scroll saw to stay on the table.
Well, if you can't do it, let me know, and I will make my first attempt at a cutting board.
Well, we should do it anyway. There you go, scroll saw cutting board challenge. But
I just shot myself.
Hey, here's another idea. Why don't you two do a collaboration?
Yeah, you
talking about? I got enough scraps right now to build a cutting board.
He collaborated. He gave me an idea.
By Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to have one built. So y'all just
Thanks a
Ow.
lot,
Yeah, he's gonna lead the page,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
It'll be
Russ
6
will the
months.
first one.
He
He'll
got
be the
his
first-
new Craig fence, man. He's gonna beat you all.
Yeah, Russ will be the first. He'll be the first one to steal your thunder, and he'll have this snazzy intro to his video, chasing away from his sign and stuff. So all I got is bling, 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 bling. Here's my logo. Bling, bling, bling. Here's a fast-forwarded video.
Well, because for the inside parts, you could a drill bit or Forstner bit or something like that could make that a nice clean inside part. And you wouldn't even have to go that crazy. Just maybe like a half circle kind of bump looking. It wouldn't have to be a real thin, puzzly kind of piece.
Yeah, and one thing I will recommend on a serious note, the second one in the same day. That's pretty rare.
Stop it! You're freaking us all out, man.
I'm ruining my bad reputation, I know, but rather than trying to fit the pieces together like you do a puzzle, overlap the piece you're going to cut the next one out of. That way you have an exact.
And then trace it,
rather than trying to piece them together from
I got an idea, guys. Next show I was planning on doing a project build. Why don't the three of you, since you guys are interested in making a cutting board, do that live on the show?
I don't know about live on the show because it takes a while.
Well, I'm just saying you can have the video ready.
Well, I can't promise I will. I'll see if I have enough thick material to do it with.
Well, even with thin material, you could always glue that down to something else,
True.
And then put a nice trim around it, and who knows, the inside's plywood.
Yeah, exactly.
All I got to say is you snooze, you lose.
Oh crap! Russ is
Well,
gonna jump
So
on right
let's
after the
do
show.
that. Let's do that. Next week, I'll have you guys that are interested in building a cutting board have your video ready for the show. And that way we'll display it on the show and you can explain what techniques that you use to build that board.
I cannot promise, but I will try. I cannot promise because of things going on in my personal life, but I will try.
I understand. But I like these build videos for the show because it adds character, and also people that are watching, they can learn from watching you, and also you're there to explain how you did it a certain way. And the guys that are on the show, I'd like to have you as a permanent member of the panel. We're going to keep it the same time and date. And that way I don't have a bunch of people coming in and just walking in.
But we have to commit? Oh my God!
If you can't make it, just let me know, but I'd like to have you guys as the permanent member.
I definitely
Brian, like I told you before, I'll let you know, but with my schedules, with my work and stuff.
I understand, Tommy. I know you're a busy guy. You got firefighting and a job on top.
Russ, I don't know if
I'd
you're...
like to say to someone that what is it with there's something about firefighting and woodworking that stays together, because I put 30 years in as a firefighter and retired, and Tommy's that, and then I think also what's his name?
Miter Mike.
Miter Mike, he's also a firefighter. I mean, there's a lot of people that are woodworking, that do woodworking, that are firefighters too. So there's some kind of combination there.
Look at Wrangler Star.
Yeah, he's a
does
he's
it
a
all.
chief of the fire department. Yeah.
I like cooking on the grill, so that's fire.
Me too, brother.
I am way too lazy to do that whole hose and stairs thing, but you know what? I'm glad there's people who do it because I don't have to that way. So
Well, let me tell you, since I retired, I got too fat to climb stairs anymore too.
I'm that guy on the sidewalk sitting there eating popcorn going, that looks hard. Mm-mm. That looks hard.
You don't want me to
Out of the
grill.
fire department.
Yeah, you don't want me to grill because I can burn a salad.
You can burn a salad. You're not supposed to have salad on the fire.
That's my first mistake.
Once I retired and hit 50, I started going. My waistline started catching my height.
I think my waistline bypassed my
I worked with a guy once that said he had perfect proportion because he could take his belt off and it was as tall as he was. So it was perfectly dimensioned that way. Okay.
Yeah, people say I'm out of shape. I beg to differ. I'm perfectly round.
Yeah, I was going to say, round shape.
Round is a shape.
Yeah.
I'm very
Anyway,
deceptive.
guys,
Sorry.
that's all I have for this week. If you'd like to stay tuned for next week, we're planning on doing some cutting boards, and we'll show some demonstrations on how we make them. And if you've got any questions, you can always leave it in the chat or in the comment section. It'll be Saturday. Let's see what the date
The
will
next
be.
next Saturday is the 4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July. Oh,
I
man.
won't be here next Saturday. I'm going out of town. I'm leaving actually out the 3rd and won't be back until the 5th.
Yeah, we'll do the next show on the 11th.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks for staying in tune, and see you on the 11th.